Naomi Watts from Stripes, and I'm here with Kate Donnelly.
Hi.
Our head of marketing, and so happy to be here.
Happy to be here.
If a little nervous, it's my first time.
My first time too.
You haven't done any of these on the side?
I haven't done a lot of things since I met you.
We're going to have some fun though, for certain, and talk about all things concerning skin and menopause. And it's exciting to be here.
It's exciting to be here. So we met about 1.5 years ago. Naomi was really just standing up this brand and had a real passion for the mission of forwarding women's health and bringing and opening up this conversation. And I've been super inspired the last 1.5 years as we've been doing this together.
You're going to be really ready for it when it's time.
I am definitely ready for it.
It was important to shift the narrative. This had been otherwise a closed conversation for the generations before us, and really it just makes no sense given that it's half the population that will always go into menopause. And now that we're living longer, we need to set up our healthcare better, and a lot of that comes with understanding what menopause really is.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I thought it was really interesting when we were talking before about some of the symptoms that you were going through when you started going through perimenopause, being, you know, things happening to your skin.
Yeah.
And that being part of the reason why you wanted to create this collection here at Stripes. So I don't know if you want to maybe fill us in a little bit on that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was thrust into it far earlier than I ever expected, and that can happen to some. I know they say the average age is 51, but I was well before that, unfortunately, and I was right at the precipice that I was wanting to start a family. So I had a very quick learning curve, and it was very much alone because the conversation wasn't open, and not really with even my community, my friends. They sort of laughed it off nervously, and it wasn't until much later that I gained the confidence to sort of really get the answers I needed. But yes, to your point about skin, we knew a lot about the obvious symptoms, or not a lot. We knew they existed, but I certainly didn't know that skin was one of them.
Yeah.
And what happens is through the loss of estrogen, you dehydrate, and that happens from, as we like to say at Stripes, scalp to. Are we allowed to say that word?
I'm not actually sure.
Rhymes with badge. Yes, and we have a product just for that, by the way.
Yes.
And so I was running around wondering what to do. I had, angry, itchy, dry, irritable skin, and I didn't know what was happening. I did go to various dermatologist appointments, and they would soothe me with some kind of cream, but it would just keep going, and I had to really change up my skincare routine.
Yeah.
Because of it, and that's when I moved to cleaner products and with much more gentle ingredients, and I saw an instant result. But yeah, with Stripes, we're all of the products are designed to really target those symptoms, the dryness that happens, the thinning of the skin and the hair, or in every place.
All of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's great. So we're super excited. You're going to take us through your skincare routine today, your new skincare routine, and all of the amazing Stripes products that we have to share here.
And you can find everything's shoppable, right?
Everything's shoppable. I think your carousel is below. Okay. So click, add it to your cart. You can take a look if we want to showcase all of the products that we are going to be showing today. One of the things I just want to mention is the amazing, what we call a smart targeted formulation that has Ectoine and Squalane in almost all of the products that you're going to see today, from the skincare to the body care and hair care. And what that really does is it's smart targeted hydration. So Ectoine really draws the water from your body and puts it where your body needs it the most. And the Squalane is going to lock that in like a lid on a pot. So it really provides that long-lasting hydration that we're all really looking for.
Yeah, it's such a great pairing. And really, those two formulations paired together were created for the pure reason to create that extra moisture and really, really strengthen the skin barrier while it's all locked in.
Yep.
And they are in, those two ingredients are in virtually all of our products except for the body oil.
Exactly.
Because we haven't figured out yet how to mix Ectoine with oil.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. We've got great scientists.
Well, before we get into the products, I just want to remind all of you live that we are live here with you today. So if you have any questions while we're going through everything, just feel free, put them in the chat. We'll get to as many as we can. Before we go through any questions or the routine, we have a special guest here today. We have our friend, Dr. Mary Claire Haver, that we can introduce.
Yes. Mary Claire, are you out there anywhere? We are going to see her. She is a board-certified OBGYN. She's an author, and she's a menopause specialist. Hi, Dr. Mary Claire. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me. So great to be here. You too.
Yeah, Mary Claire, we have done a few things and had many conversations now all surrounding the same topic, and I think it's because we're both deeply passionate about this this thing called menopause that we were hit with, and it is a disruptive thing, but there are ways to deal with it if you get the right amount of education and people to speak to. Community is everything, and those are the three pillars of Stripes, which are education. We want to set a woman up with the best possible guidance, as well as a community that she can interact with. That's another available tool on our platform at imstripes.com. In the hotspot, that is, and as well as drench her in beautiful lotions that really are addressing her symptoms at hand.
I do love.
Yeah, can you tell me? Sorry, a little bit of a delay.
No,
can you tell me about your story and why you wanted to get so deeply into becoming a specialist in menopause?
Sure. So back up to my mid-40s, I had been practicing as an OB-GYN in an academic practice. I was teaching residents, medical students, and I had a very booming private practice through the university. And I started having perimenopausal symptoms. At the same time, I had a family tragedy. My brother passed away very suddenly. And in my grief and depression from his death, I was also having severe perimenopausal symptoms, but I was gaslighting myself as to just blaming the grief. I wasn't sleeping, I was up all night, I was having joint pain, I was gaining weight, I was having skin changes, everything. And I just thought, oh, well, you're depressed, you're getting through this grief. And then when the grief finally lifted and I was still left with all these symptoms, I realized, oh my God, I'm in perimenopause. I didn't even recognize my own medical issues at the time. And so started talking to my girlfriends, started sharing about my experience online, and realized that there were thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of women who were going through the same things I was going through. And none of us, including me, felt like there was any source of validation. There was a lot of medical training. As a matter of fact, I probably had maybe an hour in medical school on anything to do with menopause. And then in my residency, which I learned amazing things in residency, but there was a serious gap in knowledge around recognition, treatment, options, and all of the organ systems that are involved in menopause. So they did a survey recently.
Yeah, I think people... Yeah, you were going to say the survey about how much learning is put into menopause. We were looking at that ourselves. That in one's whole residency, we're talking about single digits in terms of the hours of specializing in menopause. It's crazy to me. When there are estrogen receptors all over our body, all over the organs, and this is going to affect us through the rest of our lives, which is a large portion of our lives. It's more than a third, or up to a third, just around a third, depending on your genetic makeup, I suppose. But why wouldn't we want to set ourselves up better for the rest of our lives in terms of healthcare?
Exactly. There was an experiment I do with the residents now when I get invited to speak at other universities. And I have everyone pull out their phones and I have them look up on PubMed, which is a national like clearinghouse for research. Type in the word pregnancy, which is important, and how many articles pop up. And it is 1.1 million the last time I checked. Now type in the word menopause, how many articles come up? And it's 94,000. And if you look at the last 10 years, the last 100 years, that 10-to-1 ratio holds. And we spend a third of our lives in the perimenopause and menopause journey, and it affects our organ systems just as much as pregnancy does. And we have just as much opportunity to intervene and improve quality of life as we do in pregnancy. Yet why are we only getting 10% of the brain power, 10% of the research dollars, 10% of all of those assets going towards us at this age?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there is hope, though. I think the conversation has just been cracked open, and you know, people are listening for the first time. Changes are being made. Storytelling often has the power to change things, as we know. And I mean, there's a list of things that have happened that I think are pointing towards good news this year alone. Right. A new drug on the market. There are definitely more brands populating the market, which are really operating with a unified voice, which is to educate. We have that New York Times article written by Susan Dominus. I know for a fact that many of my female friends went to their doctors with the article in their hand and said, you see, I need to get myself on some hormone replacement therapy right away. So
yeah, so we have a question from a live member, Isabel. She's asking, what menopause symptoms surprised you the most?
Oh, interesting question, because there's a great list up to 34, and I'm sure there's more now that everyone's watching and counting. So I would say my skin was the big surprise. You know, we're talking frozen shoulder still to this day, and I am, you know, what's called postmenopause. And I am still getting some symptoms despite the fact that I'm medically treated and, you know, this many years in. Yeah, that's, again, I think, Mary Claire, you had a frozen shoulder too, right? Am I getting that wrong or right?
I'm still dealing with it. I woke up this morning.
Yeah.
With it as well. Yeah. And just the overall muscle and joint pain. And yes, the skin. Just one of the things that shocked me when I was talking to my dermatology friends was we lose 30% of our collagen in the menopause transition. The first 5 years of menopause, we're going to lose 30% of basically the springs in the mattress that hold our texture of our skin up. And it's incredible to me. And like you said, the loss of moisture, incredible.
Yeah. Well, speaking of loss of moisture and skin, I was thinking we should maybe look at our skincare availabilities here and talk to you about what your routine is as well. Like what do I mean, I know you travel, you have an intensive work schedule, you're constantly taking care of everybody else. So what would you do for yourself in your routine in the morning or night?
So first thing you always want to do, or I always do, is clean. I want to start with a clean slate. I have to be careful of the type of cleanser that I use because we don't want to overstrip the natural oils because we've lost so much. So we're both holding up our faves. So Resting Clean Face is a nice, gentle cleanser that is going to remove the excess dirt and oil from your skin without stripping kind of the base of the oils that we need to help keep our skin stay hydrated and moisturized. Yeah, you're applying it right there.
And it's so true. Lots of cleansers can be quite drying and quite stripping. And, you know, we really worked on this a lot because we wanted to make sure that no matter what the product is, it's always going to nourish the skin. And, you know, teenagers can use this. Hormonal issues, we got you with this cleanser right here. Anything that is creating a sensitivity or a dryness, you know, colder months, for instance, you know, your husbands can use this, ladies, or your sons. It's just very nourishing, and it's very good for people who are having irritabilities. So I agree.
So then,
that Stripes
the
work
next
wonders
thing
for her dry skin. So just wanted to call that out.
Thank you, Skylar. Hi, Skylar. You've got dry skin, and I don't know if you're in a hormonal state yet or not, or have been, but yeah, just the dry skin alone is reason enough.
So
then, sorry, I cut you off.
After cleansing is when I'm going to put my serum on. So in my mind, a serum is something that is going to penetrate deeper into the skin. It's going to provide, you know, underneath the, you know, try to get into the epidermis and really support those areas that we're losing collagen in. So we want it to really get penetrative. So Power Move is a great option for this. This also has the Ectoine,
yes,
like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and people say this is like putting marshmallows onto your skin. It's filled with hyaluronic acids, 5 to be exact, a mushroom extract, and it leaves you with a nice bounce. It literally feels so plumping, and the smells. I have to brag about the smells. It's really gentle and lovely, and you know, pleasing. Oh yeah, I just want to mention our names. I don't know if anyone's noticed. We've tried to have some fun with the names, because yes, we know that, you know, menopause can be a sometimes, often even. So we wanted to have a wink and a nod, and hopefully put a little smile on people's faces as well. And I tend to be a bit of a word lover, and I like to play on words. For instance, you know, do as I do. That's a day cream. Oh, this is the full Monty, which is a body oil, and I'm just going to put this on right now and show you the sheen. Mm-hmm. Can you see that? Here, I'll flex at the same time.
Hit workout later.
Yeah, I did work out this morning. I got my morning workout in, and I bet you did too, Mary Claire. I've seen your body. Yeah, we've got, this is the Crown Pleaser for those of you who are wanting some real volume and bounce in your hair, as well as shine. I feel like I'm rushing through this now.
No, Isabel's asking, what skin type does this line work best with?
Pardon?
What skin type does this line work best with? Really, all skin types, right?
Yeah, no. I would say all skin types, especially those that are sensitive and dry. That's going to be, I mean, so you can layer. That's the thing. You can layer, or you can have less steps. It depends on A, your time, B, the season, what your skin is going through. I definitely, you know, people swear by this evening wear, which is our newest one to launch. Evening wear is my hands are now greasy, so I'm gonna I can't open anything.
Naomi.
And this pumps up beautifully right there. You've got it?
This,
yes. Do you swear by it?
This is my ride or die.
Oh, yes. Now this, you know, you don't have to wait for the evening, ladies. You can just put it on right when you want to in the morning. And I mean, I actually can't even resist not putting this. I'm not going to waste it on my hand. Nectar of the gods. So yeah, it's deeply hydrating, and we have retinoids in here, which are the gentler version of retinol. So that, yeah, go on.
This is my ride or die.
Yeah, tell me about it.
This is my
Why
ride.
Is it your ride or die?
I prescription for Retin-A, which I love, but I can only use it probably once a week, or it's just too irritating and drying for my skin, especially in menopause. This has a retinoid that I can use every day. So I'm getting the benefits, and I use this every night. I travel with it. I love how creamy it is. I love how moisturized my skin feels. This is my favorite product of your entire line. So
Oh,
absolutely
yay. I'm
love
so
it.
glad to hear that. Yay.
So Naomi, as you get ready for a special evening or special event this week, somebody's birthday, can
Yep.
you tell us the order and really of your routine that you go through and use these products?
Yeah, I've got another birthday. Can you believe it? They just keep on coming. You know, if I'm getting ready and I'm going out and I'm going to wear makeup, I don't want to have too much on my skin before, but I'm going to want to clean it before I go out, and of course I'll use the Resting Clean face. And then, you know, I might just, oh yeah, and I'll open my pores with the Cool Factor. This is also moisturizing. It is like an essence. Some people call it a toner or a mist. It's also great to carry around in the bag, and just when you're having a little bit of a flushy moment, you can cool off, and that opens up the pores, and everything's going to be more receptive. You can choose to put Dew as I do, or the Power Move, and then I'm just going to put my makeup on, zhuzh my hair, probably put it up. Most of the time it's up unless somebody's got their hands on it, and I'm always going to put this on to make sure I smell nice. I'm not a big perfume wearer. And this has got just the right amount of scent so that it leaves people going, what is that? Who's wearing something yummy? So yeah, that's generally my nightly routine before I go out. And yes, I will be doing that when I go to dinner tomorrow night.
Jen is asking if there's anything you wish you started earlier before this routine.
Earlier with...
From a skincare perspective.
Like in what sense? Like... what would I have started earlier?
Like a serums or cleansers or anything?
No,
or have you kind of always had this routine?
I've always had that kind of 4 or 5 steps in my routine. Yeah, occasionally I like to exfoliate, and as you get older, you don't want to do those stripping things anymore, and so we haven't got that in our line yet, but I do sometimes miss it, and I think that is going to be something we'll come out with at some point, a nice, gentler version of really getting under the skin, because, you know, as Marie Claire said at the beginning, clean skin is everything.
Absolutely.
Oh, and hair care. I think I've not mentioned this, that we did mention the Crown Pleaser, and then also we have a serum, which is right here, the root of it. Again, our fun names, hopefully. And this, my hairdresser was raving about this. You just put it on there, like 3 or 4 drops, and sometimes if the dropper is problematic, I just bang it out because I want to move quickly in my routine. And this is like, actually my husband has used this too, because you don't want the gel look, you don't want that kind of stiff, dry hair, but you want some texture and you want some volumizing, but this is going to strengthen the root, which is why it's called the root of it. And you can wear it to bed, you can wear it before you shower, you can put it on getting out of the shower, really however you like. But as you can see, it just creates like a little bit of definition.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're doing something nourishing for your hair.
Yeah. Jennifer M is asking if you've noticed, like, what differences have you noticed in your hair since menopause?
I mean, definitely my hair has been a pain point, and I've tried lots and lots of things along the way. I get, my hair breaks really around the front especially, and I've had some thinning, and also, you know, I'm in a job, unfortunately, where I'm dealing with heat and you know, lots of product all the time for styling, and you know, it's tough. My hair is definitely still a sore spot for me. But these two things, I mean, I know when I want my hair to look as thick and healthy as it possibly can, it's going to go so much better with spending 5 minutes in the shower with that mask. And you can leave it on, by the way. And sometimes actually, when I felt like my hair's at its absolute worst, I'll literally douse my hair in this, and to the point where you get that sort of wet look, and I'll just put it back like this, and then in a ponytail, or a stubby, I should say. My hair's a bit longer than usual, but yeah, and just kind of glue it to my head.
Yeah.
And it looks like your hair is styled. So yeah, I recommend that.
That's great. This one's for Mary Claire, I think. Can you tell us a little bit about what's happening to our skin while we go through this dip in hormones, right? And why it's so important to protect the barrier and build up that hydration?
Got it. So we have estrogen receptors in the skin at all levels of the skin, the dermis, the epidermis. And when our estrogen levels decline through the menopause process, we start seeing changes. So one is we lose about 30% of our collagen. Second, we lose elastin. So what makes our skin kind of stretchy, we lose that. And I think from a day-to-day basis, we lose that moisture barrier if we're not careful, especially if you're using products that are stripping what natural oils we have in the skin. Some women might see acne start in menopause. I didn't have that problem, so that's something kind of to remember as well. So it's really important that we use, if you want to keep your skin as healthy as possible, you protect that moisture barrier. I love the Squalane and Ectoine that are in these products for that, and that we don't abuse it. You know, we use our sunscreen. That's the other thing. Probably the most important thing any of us can do is protect against further sun damage by using a good sunscreen. And that's the last step that I do in the morning after I put on my serum and my moisturizer. I'm always going to put a sunscreen on as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, that's in the wings for us. We definitely have some sunscreens figured out for our lovely consumers. Yeah, we are, I totally agree. My skin has been doused in sunscreen every day. I'm really, really careful, but I wasn't careful early on. I was one of those kids that just baked myself and was sure it was the right thing to do. But it's never too late. I think you really, you know, you're right. Every day, even in New York City, when we have tall, high-rise buildings, I still do it.
Great.
Do we have any more questions?
I think we have time for one more.
Yeah.
I know what Mary Claire's favorite product is, but what is your ride or die all-time favorite?
Well,
can't live without product?
I'm not seeing it anywhere. Let's see. Are these cupboards openable? I would have to say Badge of Honor is my favorite. Oops, I said it.
It's product name.
Sorry if I've offended anyone. That is it's our hero or our bestseller. But I would say otherwise the Power Move. This is just all year round. It can work as a moisturizer alone if you feel like you don't need extra hydration. It really is, it gives enough on its own, but it works beautifully underneath the day cream, do as I do, or evening wear as well. I feel so sad to leave out others. I hope they're not listening, because
all your babies.
Souls. My babies. Yeah, and I would say the mask as well. The mask is, I mean, the results that we get, the response from everybody across the board has just been wonderful. So we're thrilled with that. And I would say if you're going to start small, yeah, this one is going to be a game changer. And this one, even though it might be our most expensive in the line, it is purpose. You can use it as a serum, you can use it as a moisturizer, you can use it as a day or night cream. So it's a high recommend.
And then last question, just because I think it's an important one. Do we plan on expanding the line, which we talked about a little bit?
Let's watch this space for 2024. I think you'll see new things transpire.
I think that's all the time we have.
That's all the time we have. We've run out. Thank you so much for having us and for listening in. And
before we do that, we have a little birthday cake.
A triple cream deliciousness. I've got to say, I'm partial to cake. But wait, the candle.
We left off the candle.
There's about 50 more that you need.
This is good. It gets it across.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Kate. You're the best.
Happy
and
birthday.
Thank you, Mary Claire. Thank you for being here with us. We're so happy to hear from you. Your audience is spectacular, and so thank you for doing what you're doing and sharing your time with us today.
Thank you, Mary Claire.
Thank you.
Bye.